Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Gaur Premanande Jai Vishnupad Paramamsa Parirajakarya Stotra Sata Srimad Divine Grace Abhay Charanavinde Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramamsa Parirajakarya Stotra Sata Srimad Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Ramacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Se Kaho Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Ki Brajama Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Kshetra Mayapur Dham Ki Ganga Maya Yamuna Maya Ki Bhakti Devi Tulsi Marani Ki Samet Gaur Bhakti Vrinda Ki Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Itai Gaur Premanande All glories assembled devotees, all glories assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamadirahe Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 5th chapter. This chapter entitles Narada's teachings to Vasudeva. Text number 37. Please repeat after me. Nahi yata paramo labho dehinam brahmitam iha yato videta paramam shantim nashyati samistita. Nahi yata paramo labho dehinam brahmayetam tam iha yato vinita paramam shantim nashati samsritaha. Nahi yata paramo labho dehinam brahmahitam iha yato vidita paramam shantim nashyati samasritaha. Please chant. Nahi yata paramo labho dehinam brahmahitam iha yato vidita paramam shantim nashyati samskritihi. Thank you very much. Word to word meaning. Na, there is no. He, indeed. Atha, than this. Process of Sankirtana. Parama, greater. Labha, thing to be gained. Dehinam, for embodied souls. Brahmahitam, who are being forced to wander. Iha, throughout this material universe. Yatha, from which. Vidyata, one obtains. Paramam, the supreme. Shantim, peace. Nasyati, and he is destroyed. Samskritaha, the cycle of repeated birth and death. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Indeed, there is no higher possible gain for embodied soul forced to wander throughout the material world than Supreme Lord Sankirtan movement, by which one can attain the supreme peace and free oneself from cycle of repeated birth and death. Purport. Let's elaborate purport, 2-3 paras. In the Skanda Purana as well as other Puranas, there are following statements. Mahabhagavata Nityam Kalu Kurvanti Kirtanam. During the Kali Yuga, the great devotees of the Lord always engage in Kirtana, chanting the Lord's holy name. It is the nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be merciful, and He is especially merciful to those who in a helpless condition take a complete shelter of his lotus feet. One can immediately take the shelter of his lotus feet of the Lord by chanting his holy name. According to Sridhar Swami, even in the previous ages such as Satya Yuga, it is not possible for the living entities to achieve the perfection that is available in the Kali Yuga. Srila Jiva Goswami has explained this as follows. In a former ages such as Satya Yuga, human beings were perfectly qualified and easily performed even the most difficult spiritual process, meditation, for many thousands of years practically without eating, sleep, or sleeping. Thus, although in any age, one who completely takes shelter of the Lord's holy name gets all perfection. The highly qualified inhabitants of Satya Yuga do not consider that merely moving the tongue and lips, chanting the Lord's holy name is a complete process, and that the Lord's holy name is the only shelter within the universe. They are more attracted to the difficult and elaborated yoga system of meditation, complete with a vertical sitting posture and painstaking control of the breath and deep and extended meditation in trance on the personality of Godhead within the heart. In the Satya Yuga, sinful life is practically unheard of, and therefore people are not affiliated with the terrible reactions seen in the Kali Yuga, such as the world war, famine, plague, and drought, insanely, etc. Although in the Satya Yuga people always worship the personality of Godhead as ultimate goal of life and meticulously follow his law called dharma, they do not feel themselves to be in a helpless condition, and thus they do not they do not always experience the intense love intense love for the Lord. However, in the Kali Yuga, living conditions are so unbreakable, modern governments are so obnoxious. Our bodies are ridden by the physical and mental disease, and even self-preservation is so troublesome, and that is the conditioned souls intensely cry out a holy name of Krishna, begging for relief from onslaught of this age. The members of the Krishna consciousness movement have vivid and unforgettable experience of the terrible contradictions inherent in the human society in this age. Thus, they are firmly convinced that there is nothing to be achieved except the mercy of the Supreme Lord. In ISKCON centers throughout the world, we observe wonderfully ecstatic Kirtana performance in which men and women, children from all walks of life chant and startling enthusiasm and the holy name of Krishna and dance in ecstasy, becoming completely indifferent to the so-called public opinion. In America, a prominent professor from Oberlin College visited the Hare Krishna Center in California and was astonished by the enthusiasm with which the devotees chant the holy name of Krishna in their congregational performance. Thus, due to their helplessness, pathetic condition, the living entities Kali Yuga have great impetus to surrender fully to the holy name of Krishna, putting all their hopes and faith in the Lord's holy name. Kali Yuga is therefore the best age because in this age, more than Satya Yuga and other ages, the conditioned souls becomes disgusted with the kingdom of illusion and surrender fully to the Lord's holy name. This status of full surrender is called Parama Satyam or supreme peace. Shantim Param Shantim. Srila Madhvacharya has quoted a passage from the book called Swabhasya to be effect that a bona fide spiritual master in a disciple succession is able to understand the mentality and capability of his disciple and engage them in worshipping a particular form of the Lord suitable for them. In this way, the spiritual master destroys all obstacles in the path of his disciple. The general rule is that one must worship the particular form of the Lord and that appears in a current yuga. One may one may also offer his love and worship the other form of the Lord appear in the other ages. And specifically, one is recommended to chant the holy name of Lord Nrsingadeva to get all protection. Practically, all of these instructions are being carried out within the ISKCON movement. Within the Krishna Consciousness Society, men, women, children are all being engaged in worshipping the Lords according to their particular nature. In addition, according to the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order, we are worshipping Balarama Krishna, who appeared in the Dwapara Yuga because they are the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, by chanting the Dashavatara Stotra, Jaya Jagadisha Hare, and by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, the members of ISKCON worship all of the preliminary expansion of the personality of Godhead, and after every Aarti performance, devotional prayers are duly chanted to the Lord Nrsingadeva for protection of this movement, which is so essential to the human society. Thank you very much for hearing patiently. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapadakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamsya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padham Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Ancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So this wonderful instructions by Srila Narada Muni to Vasudeva regarding the importance of human form of life, how to lead human form of life, and what is a success. In that context, Srila Narada Muni instructs this 37th verse. There is no higher gain possible for embodied soul, other than the chanting the holy name of the Lord. So in this purport, disciples of Srila Prabhupada has elaborately given glories of the holy name, glories of the glories of the organization ISKCON, what they are doing, and how one should surrender to the holy name with helpless situation. Like in this purport, it is very clearly stated that even in the Satya Yuga, it was not possible for the living entity to achieve the perfection that is available in the Kali Yuga. That means, in one sense, Kali Yuga is the highest and the most golden opportunity, the most thing which is never been given in other yugas, like Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and the last comes the Kali Yuga. Of course, Kali Yuga also has other things. In this purport, it is discussed pros and cons of so many difficulties people are facing in this Kali Yuga, and at the same time they got one opportunity. Harinam Sankirtan. So by chanting this Harinam Sankirtan, we can achieve the same perfection in the Satya Yuga. So as stated here in the Sri Goswami explained as this follows: in this former ages such as Satya Yuga, human beings are perfectly qualified and easily performed even in the most difficult spiritual process, which is meditation for many thousands of years, practically without eating and sleeping. What is happening is that there were personalities, people in the Satya Yuga. It is said that people, they used to perform their meditation without eating and sleeping. So as a human being in this age, practically it is not possible. So as in the Bhagavad Gita, Yuktahara Viharasya Yukta Chechasya Karmashu. So what is there in the sloka? So eating, sleeping, recreation should be regulated. Krishna never said that don't eat, don't sleep, and don't do recreation. But it has to be what is done. It has to be regulated. If you eat too much, you'll sleep too much. If you sleep too much, and the consequences will be the same thing, like which is lazy and complacency, and also not able to focus on the holy name. And if you too less, if you sleep, then the same thing it will happen. Once Srila Prabhupada was Srila Prabhupada told, a person who is sleeping too much is lazy. A person who is sleeping too less is crazy. Like person who is if he is saying, okay, I will get up at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, take shower and chant the holy name attentively, and sleep only little bit of time and eat only little. No, it is not practical. 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, after 4th day, that is collapse, because body is not a transcendental. As we heard, Namacharya Haridas Thakur, he was chanting 192 rounds without, keeping minimum, so minimum that for eating and sleeping. And when we chant, if we want to imitate that, then definitely there will be consequences on the body. For example, you may think of this point. Holy name is transcendental and sweeter than sweetest, and it is a Nama Chintamani Rasa Vigraha, and that verse it says, right? It's a touching, like very sweet, and Chintamani Rasa Vigraha, and Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhindatvam Nama Namino. So when we understand that concept, holy name is so sweet, and there is no other way, and there is no other way. Even if you chant, say suppose on Nirjala Ekadashi, 64 rounds, usually we don't have any things to do, Nirjala Ekadashi or Pandu Nirjala Ekadashi or Bhishma Ekadashi, even if you chant 64 rounds or 192 rounds, next day we have to brush our mouth, because we can't say that, okay, holy name is so sweet and I have chanted 64 rounds, still your mouth smells bad, correct? That's a practical aspect of that, because we cannot be totally saying that totally spiritual, we cannot be on that platform. You are not on the platform, but holy name is on that spiritual. But whereas we are using this material body to travel from A to B, like from material world to spiritual world. In that process, body needs some kind of a cleansing process, like eating, sleeping, and maintenance. Like as I said, even if you chant 64 rounds, next day it's not going to smell wonderful. For you also it will smell bad, stings. So why I brought this point is that in the previous ages, like it is mentioned by Sri Goswami, they were perfectly qualified men who are practically doing meditation for many thousands of years without eating and sleeping. Okay, So in this age, we cannot compromise on those things. Of course, persons who are there and they were practicing, and I'm not denying that. And at the same time, Srila Prabhupada also told one disciple came and asked, Prabhupada, can we do like Goswamis? If you imitate Goswamis, you will die. Goswamis were doing such an austerity where it is not at all practical for our life. So there has to be minimum things, yeah, as I said, yukta hara viharasya yukta chechasya karmashu. So like minimum thing of eating and sleeping and recreation and spending more time on the reading, hearing, chanting the holy name. So when we do that practically, we get the same benefit. And another thing which is mentioned here, very interesting, in the Satyayuga, sinful life is practically unheard of. Nobody heard that somebody has committed this crime or sin. Whereas in the opposite direction, we hear now and then, oh, he has done that, oh, in that country that is happening. Recently, in Bangladesh, somebody was burnt alive. I don't know, you must have heard, because he was speaking something on Hinduism, whatever. So, we hear so many things which are only most of the sins, sinful life, sinful activities. Whereas in Satya Yoga, there is nothing heard of that. So, practically, feel helpless condition. So in these helpless conditions and always experiencing intense, always experiencing the troublesome, in that helpless condition, if person takes the shelter of the holy name, then naturally he will get the taste of the holy name and he will get the mercy of the Lord Krishna. So in the Kali Yuga, however, a living condition is unbearable and modern governments so obnoxious, and our bodies are ridden by physical and mental disease, and even in self-preservation is so troublesome that conditioned souls is intensely cry out the holy name of Krishna, begging the relief from onslaught in this age. So the members of Krishna consciousness movement have vivid and unforgettable experience of terrible conditions and inherit the inner human society in this age. So on one side, we see that people in the age of Kali Yuga, there's so much sufferings that is very, very bothersome, and they have literally trying many different things, in the name of spirituality. Some people may go for the yoga, or some people may chant some different names, because that's why we see so many bogus gurus. They have come up and they were practically showing some way or the other you can live happily in this material world. But Srila Prabhupada has said clearly, Dukkhalayam Shashvatam. There is no happiness in this material world. And somehow or the other, these people are, giving them guarantee. No. This world is happy. You can do this and be this and do like this, do this. They are giving so many different ideas to be happy in this world. But practically, none of them are working out. But they are getting cheated in the name of dharma. But what is happening is that by the time they realize there's nothing work, age is gone or something will happen or it is too late. But the only thing which is working in this age is Harinam Sankirtan. So one may say, oh, okay, you are saying that Harinam Sankirtan, the holy name of the Lord, reading scriptures will work. Are you also not undergoing sufferings? Or are you also not going the challenges? Yes, we are also undergoing challenges. We are undergoing different kinds of, what you call the problems. But we know, as an organization, Srila Prabhupada have told, even though there is so many problems, still we have to chant. But the process is very, very simple and easy. By this process, you can go back home, back to Godhead, where there is no suffering again. And others process, there is painstaking and there is so much anxiety, and after that lifetime has ended, they cannot guarantee that the next lifetime will be happy. Just like there is two hospitals. One hospital says that we will cure the disease, and another hospital also says, oh, we will also cure the disease. But when you go to the hospital A, in that hospital you don't see proper arrangements, and you don't see proper equipments and proper facilities, and whereas you go to hospital B, is you see everything proper. But in the hospital A, the professional doctors are there, and they're gonna treat your diagnosis. And there are many patients have come out with without any kind of a complaint, and their disease has been cured. But in hospital B, which all the equipments are there, but there's no professional doctors, many patients have died. So which hospital we choose? Obviously, we choose hospital A. Oh, we may see that in our organization there are so many things, ups and downs, and so many things which we think that, oh, how can this can be happen? But if even though there are so many things, things that are not going well, but still we got the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna mantra. We got the scriptures, we got the devotees, and we got the wonderful movement Sankirtan. And still we see that this process works, and it is not a bogus thing. So in that point, in the purport, we see that even great professors like college professors, big people, they are getting attracted to Krishna consciousness movement just by hearing Sankirtana. Here we see one example, a professor of one particular college from California, he just visited, and he saw that devotees were chanting the holy name of Krishna congregation. He was really impressed. These people are always dancing and smiling and chanting. How can this be? Because people have undergone so many difficulties, and when they see smile face, they always will be happy. Correct? So, in the helpless conditions, people in this age, their impetus to surrender the holy name of Krishna, putting all their hopes, faith in the holy name. The Kali Yuga, therefore, the best age, because of this age, more than the Satya Yuga and other ages. Conditioned souls have, understood, but very rare people. Everybody were not understood, because in this age, everybody cannot take up Krishna consciousness. One such, again I am quoting Srila Prabhupada, one of the disciples came to Srila Prabhupada, asked, Prabhupada, what if everybody become Krishna consciousness? Whole world become Krishna consciousness, how it will be? Prabhupada said, it will not happen. No, it is not practical. Of course, it is not statement to become discouraged. We have to try our best to make this process, to preaching, books distribution, everything. But it is not going to happen. Well, what is going to happen is that we can spread the holy name as far as possible through the books, through preaching, through the Harinam Sankirtan, and preaching to the different people, and they will take it to process. So in that way, we have done our part, and it is their part, it is Krishna's part that he will do that. Because in the Krishna consciousness movement means always moving. We always try to move and reach to the people through different various means. So in that process, we may get the people who are favorable, we may get the people who are totally unfavorable. That is not in our hand. So this holy name, when you surrender in that situation, we get a real taste. Just like when Arjuna, imagine if Arjuna was not on distress, And Arjuna was not confused and he was not bewildered. And as soon as he came on the battlefield, blew the conch shell, okay, ready to fight. And there is no Bhagavad Gita, correct? And there is no teachings. So purposefully, Krishna make Arjuna to bewildered, to distress, so that this Bhagavad Gita can come out. So when Bhagavad Gita come out, when people in this world they can take full advantage of it. Just like crying for the holy name, there are two. There, of course, you all might have heard, different seminars and retreats. Crying for the holy name, it is depends on the person to person and individual. So, just like a baby crying for mother to get some toy is different. A baby crying for hunger is different, and baby is crying for particularly only to mother is different. Mother can understand. Okay, my baby is crying. Oh, mother, first time she will come and she will give you a toy. Okay, you play with this. Then she goes back. And second time, mother sees that again this baby is crying. And mother gives some food. Okay, you have some food and go back. And third time, she sees again is crying. What do you want? You want me? Okay, I will come. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu insists Ashtakam, Nadanam, Najanam, Nasundarim, Kavitam, Jagadisha Kamaye. So I don't want women, followers, wealth, everything. What you want? I want just you. So in that process, of course, we see that there are many levels. First, Cheto Adarpana Marjanam should happen. Then, what I am trying to say is that when we surrender to the holy name in that mood, then naturally the holy names reciprocate with us. Because what is happening is that when we are chanting at the same time, the mood and the thing is not proper. We may complete our chanting, but at the same time, what is happening that there's nothing change, in the consciousness. Like there are chanting, it can be done anytime, morning, evening, or night. But when you do in the morning is different, in the night, in the difference, there is a afternoon is different. Of course, holy name is transcendental, but we are not transcendental. Correct. We will chant in a particular time, particular day, so that consciousness remains in our mind, and that will remind and awakens the love of Godhead. When you have a love of Godhead, naturally you do something which Lord likes it. Okay. When you are chanting, if it is not done in a proper mode, and if it is done inattentively, that's why we read 10 offenses. If it is done inattentively, what will happen is that we may do the things, but sometimes we feel it is, I'm preaching to myself, sorry, and I may do something, but just sake of doing. Okay, I have to do deity worship, tick. I have to do cleaning, tick. Just like a tick mark, but there is no emotion in that. When you invest emotion, naturally you think that how I can do this service best, how I can do this thing best more than that. Of course, within the boundary, not out of the boundary. One time, Srila Prabhupada's disciple, Lady Mataji, she started feeding Krishna baby food. And Srila Prabhupada asked, what are you doing? She said, I feel Krishna as my darling baby, so that's why I start feeding baby food. No, you cannot do that. Prabhupada told that, we have to treat Krishna as a 16 years old boy, and now you are not in that level, you think your mother Yashoda, Krishna is your son. No, do this process which I have given. And by doing this, and you'll understand, you'll eventually, the love of Godhead will awaken in your heart. Of course, we have to do something which is given guidelines by our previous acharyas. So, if we are not following that, then what will happen? There is a possibility of deviation. One may say that, okay, I see Krishna as my friend and I do this. Okay, we are not in that. If somebody is there, okay, that is they knows Swarupa, what is their real identity, and with the sanction of the spiritual master, then you have to do. Because when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was crying when he was chanting, ecstasy, he did not think that okay, this is what I am experiencing, and I think I got achieved the love of Godhead. Actually, he achieved the love of Godhead, and he checked with his spiritual master. When I'm chanting, I'm getting mad, and my these things symptoms are happening. What is this? Why he was checking with his spiritual master? Make sure that this is a bona fide, and make sure that this is proper. And in one sense, he don't have to, but he did it because to show an example. Sometimes that is happens with members of our organizations. Still, we have to check with co-devotees or spiritual master. Is this right thing? Last night I got a dream. Krishna came to my dream and so spoke. Is it the right thing? You should check with your spiritual master and other devotees so that this will become bona fide. Otherwise, it will be only become utpata eva kalpate. Just like that, Mataji is feeding Krishna's baby food. So similarly, the process of chanting and chanting in different times, and the final paragraph which you see that, and after every arti performance, devotional prayers, we are duly chanted Lord Nrsimhadeva for protection of this movement. Correct. One time in this Western country, I think you might know this pastime. There were envious people who attacked the temple. Srila Prabhupada was very upset. He came out and saw there were furnitures and the temple hall totally damaged. There were some people who attacked with the stones and some other things. At that time, Srila Prabhupada personally he wrote a Nrsimha prayer and gave it to his disciples, devotees. He told that after every program like March and Hare Krishna mantra, you have to chant this. So from that time onwards, it has been one of the culture. After a program, we have to chant Nrsimhadeva prayers. Nrsimhadeva not only protects the temple and the devotees, he also protects our consciousness to not to get deviated or not to get polluted. So we can chant the Nrsimha prayer for his protection. Most of the time we chant when we are going or traveling and so that we can reach a proper place. So that is good. That is also we have to chant, and also we have to chant for our protection of consciousness. When you chant the holy name, that's and also Nrsimhadeva mantra, then it is very very essential for our devotional life. Otherwise, okay, what is happening? Okay, we may do many things. There's like things, many things. What is happening is that at the same time, if there's no protection, then it is again we have to struggle. Just like we always keep our bead bags very carefully. Sometimes we lost our bead bag, it will be totally disturbed, especially where is my bead bag? Where is my bead bag? So that is also being protected, and we carefully keep it in the bag, that japamala, and we regularly wash that bag. Why? His holy name is transcendental. We can chant and keep it somewhere. No, we have some kind of culture to protection. Similarly, when we are doing anything, we end with the Nrsimhadev mantra, so that our movement, devotees, will always be protected. So, as this paragraph, Machila Madhvacharya quoted from the book Swabhya, an effect of the bona fide spiritual master disciple is able to understand the mentality and capability of his disciple, engage them in deity worship, particular worship for the suitable for them. Just like I remember, there will be one Ishtadeva, like I like this deity. People like to worship some Saligrama, and that has to come from again a spiritual master. As we see, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was given a Kurma deity from his father, so that when you establish the organization Gaudiya Math, so this will help. So deity worship is also prominent. Of course, deity worship is in Dwapar Yuga, but we do deity worship, and six Goswamis also have, each Goswami has a particular deity. When you attach with the deity, that will create your sambandha, abhideya and prayojan. So, yeah, in this yuga we can also perform a deity worship, but may not as a previous yuga, Dwapar Yuga, elaborately. Whatever things that are available, Krishna is pleased. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhakta prayashite. He will not ask, hey, why are you giving this? Whatever you are giving with a love and devotion, he's just expecting. It is not Krishna. He does not have he does not have a water to drink, or does not have fruits to eat. But when you serve, that eventually you develop that relationship. And it's naturally that, take it in a material concept. A person is working in a particular office under a boss. After 60 years of age or 70, whatever the retirement age, while he was living, everybody, appreciated his qualities. Everybody they celebrate a party. Still, he was paid employee. Still, he has an emotion connection with that boss, office, and other colleagues. So, what I am trying to say is that when he was serving in a particular office for a longer period, still he develops that attachment, emotion, things. When we are serving eternally to the deity, don't you think the attachment will come up naturally? So, these are the points which come to my mind. I'll pause here. You can have any questions, comments, corrections. Okay, thank you so much. Grantaraj Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande.